With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Sell with the best. Harrisburg. 5 of the last 6 horses of the year selling as yearlings were sold at Harrisburg. Last year's yearling sale was an all-time record breaker. Find your champion. November 6th through the 10th.
Welcome to another edition of Harness Racing Updates, Two's in Training, sponsored by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company and Wire to Wire Wealth. I'm Heather Vitale. When I do the intros to these features, I try to come up with something that will grab the viewer's attention. And if talking with a trainer who just had a $9 million season doesn't capture your interest, I don't know what will. Tony Alagna is coming off of an incredible career year, and we can't wait to see what's on the horizon for the Alagna Armada in this edition of Two's in Training. Tony, a $9 million season. Are you surprised by that, or were you aiming for 10?
Well, we always look back. It was, of course, our best year that we had had. We were second in the earnings for the year behind Ronnie. But, we look back on horses that could have made more money, but, you can't kind of look at it that way because we had horses that probably exceeded what we thought they would make. So, overall, it was a very good year, very solid year.
So this place we're at, your new farm, so exciting. We've done several Two's in Trainings where we've been down in Florida. Last year we were here, but the horses were split up between here in Jersey and Florida. Now it's a whole different setup. Everybody's here?
Pretty much. We sent 15 down to Florida this winter. My mom had them down there. They'll be down there for another week, and then they ship back up north as well. I wanted to send a few down there. She's down there. She has a condo there. But the majority stayed up here this year. So, and, we had a mild winter, so we can't complain. We didn't miss any time, and everything, seems to be going well.
So how about the progress of the farm? Is it all Tony-fied?
It's getting there. We have one barn left to do, and it's a 22 stall barn. We didn't have any more empty stalls to be able to empty it out to do it. When we ship some horses to Oak Grove this year and start to ship horses to Lexington, then we'll start working on that barn. And like I said, that's the last one to do. We have some paddocks to finish up in the front, and we just put a training strip in the middle of the track and a half-mile jog track. We have to put the material down for that, and I think we can take a deep breath there and just kind of sit and enjoy it for a little bit after that.
Okay, so you'll have the training strip, which is a straightaway, yes, the half-mile jog track, and then how big is it a 5/8?
It's a 7/8. Yeah, 7/8 mile track. It was originally advertised as a mile, but they trained in the 4-path, and they had a sand track on the inside. We took the sand track out. We wanted to have all the room with the many horses as we have, and we didn't want to have to, train in the middle of the racetrack. So we took that out and reconfigured it, resurveyed it, made it a 7/8, and it's worked out very well.
Super cool. I love seeing the progress here, so I already can't wait till next year. Yeah. Now, numbers. All right. How many 2-year-olds? How many 3-year-olds? And do you have any older horses?
We ended up. I was shooting for 80 2-year-olds or 80 yearlings is kind of what the number I had in my head, and it was funny because I had 80 purchased, homebreds, everything, and I was walking out of the Harrisburg sale, and I talked to Tammy McNiven at Twinbrook. And her husband had a colt that had gotten injured. He was the opening night colt or opening day colt at Harrisburg, a Sweet Lou colt. and they said, we really like this colt. We'd like to keep him. We'd like to retain a piece. If you're interested in buying the rest of him, we'd love to send him your way. So he ended up being number 81. But I'm really glad we got him. He's really training good, so I like him a lot.
And then how many 3-year-olds do you have?
Let's see, there's 160 here total. So I'm guessing that there's got to be 80. There's got to be at least 60 we're training back, plus the amount of aged horses and race horses that we have. That kind of rounds out the number. So it's a pretty good split as far as that. We have more aged horses this year than we normally do, but we kept more horses over because of Kentucky. The Kentucky has the 4-year-old series now, so you'll see horses like I Did It My Way and Boudoir Hanover and horses like that Tarasi that have carried over to race at 4 that maybe would have been sold or maybe would have retired or went somewhere else.
We're actually going to talk about a few 3-year-olds now. I want to find out, how they're coming along, getting an update. We'll start with El Rey, who was the Governor's Cup winner last year.
Yeah, he was a colt we were really high on training down in Florida as a 2-year-old. It took him a while to kind of get in his groove there, and he really finished up the year strong. I think he won 5 out of his last 6 starts or something like that. About mid-season there in Kentucky, he kind of started to put things together and finished up really well at the Corbin meet. And that translated over to what he did here at the Meadowlands at the end of the year. And we put him away on a good note. We trained him in 2.5 to the bike the other day. That was his first time back to the bike. And he's really grown up, matured, improved a lot as far as, his mental, strengths and his physical strengths. He really looks good.
What about Bellissima Hanover? She showed super speed last year.
A lot of speed. The family has a little bit of a tie-up problem. The mare had it, the daughters have it. We kind of fought that a little bit there. The end of the year, she kind of threw a clunker on us, but her tie-up numbers were elevated again. She was vicious, the week before that. So, we put her away in good order. She's come back well. She's been back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, Tony just mentioned the mayor and his daughters, that's a little teaser because we are actually going to talk about them when we get to the 2-year-olds. But let's talk about a couple of trotting fillies first. Mamacita.
Yeah, Mamacita was a very, very solid filly for us last year. First crop tactical landing. I love that her dam was a mare called Bill's Lady, the boot and shake campaign that I was actually the underbidder on as a yearling. So I've been waiting for a daughter, and this filly came along, and we bought her. And she had a solid 2-year-old year. I mean, she raced from start to finish. Hit a little mid-season lull there where I didn't think she was quite as sharp, but she really finished up the year strong, and she's come back well. And we trained her in 2.5 the other day as well.
Okay. And then the last 3-year-old I want to talk about, a trotting filly, Heart on Fire.
Yeah, same thing. She was a very immature filly last year. She's a big, strong filly, but really mentally needed a little growing up. And she's been back in 2.5 as well. She turned out with Mamacita and came back in with her. She went up to Crawford's, both fillies. And, they do a phenomenal job. Heather Reese, Marshall up there does a great job rehab, bringing them back. And they came back in good shape. And like I say, so far, so good.
Okay, now let's move on to those quote-unquote babies, the 2-year-olds. Let's check out some trotting colts first. We're going to talk about Benny J. He was a Lexington purchase, $255,000. He's a Walner out of Anywhere With You.
Yeah, Anywhere With You was a mare that I trained for Brittany, and we trained the first 2 out of the mare. A filly called More Than Ever that we really liked. She finished up, had a nice year this year in Lexington. And then a colt named Novel was a 2-year-old out of the mare, both Father Patrick's. And they both showed enough ability, took good records. I think Anywhere With You, the More Than Ever filly, she took a mark of 53 this year, and Novel took a mark of 55. And this was a Walner colt, this beautiful colt. And I mean, I thought he was as good as any of the Walners that I saw at Lexington. And Ken Jacobs, of course, is always in the market for a Walner, and he said, "Tell me who your best one is." And I said, "This colt," and that was his best one as well. And once Kenny's on one, he's on it. He went the distance and got him bought it, and the colt's trained really well. Really happy with him.
Staying with the trotting colts, we have a Waterfall. He's a Walner, and this is a first foal out of Torrance.
Yeah, this is a colt that Brittany and Al Lepfeld retained. And they asked us to train him, and he's just been really, really solid all winter. I mean, great manners, great gait, kind of a low-going horse, very efficient, gets a lot of speed out of his gait, has been solid all winter, hasn't had a bad day, so really happy with him as well.
Okay, how about the Muscle Hill Bright Star?
really nice colt. So, we were on the market for Muscle Hill, and we found this colt and another colt from Brittany. We bought both of them, and this colt's just been really, really, really exceptional all winter. He doesn't have bad days. He's caught up. He gets a little bit, colt changes, but it doesn't affect him. He kind of works his way through it, but got a great attitude, great work ethic, and it's from the family of Passionate Glide. So there's plenty of pedigree there. So hopefully he's got a stallion's pedigree. He can live through and be one.
Okay, now let's check out the trotting fillies. Love this one, Harley Quinn. Okay, she's a homebred. I love the name. Harley Quinn, a little bit psycho, the comic book star. Does this filly have a personality to match her name, or?
She actually is a full sister to Ramona Hill, homebred of Crawford's, and of course Michelle came up with the Harley Quinn name, and she's like, you. This is the perfect name for this filly, and she acts so much like her sister. She really has a great attitude. Travels like her, acts like her. She's just got all the characteristics of Ramona. Hopefully she could be, half of the filly her sister was, because we know how special Ramona was, especially when she was on her A game. So, but this filly's been good. She's been solid. Very happy with her, and like I say, we're fortunate that Crawford's retained her so they could have her for a future broodmare, and we get an opportunity to train her.
All right. How about Special Talent, a $250,000 Lexington purchase?
Yeah, this filly was funny because, I saw her at Brittany and we absolutely loved her. She's a full sister to Special Way. And, we earmarked her. I thought she'd bring a 500, 600,000. She was special. She was a great specimen, great individual, great in the paddock, great video, full sister to the best trotting filly out there. And, we literally were sitting there watching her sell, and I had no intention of bidding on her. And Robbie Pride, one of my owners, he's sitting behind me and he goes, "Why aren't we bidding on her?" And we jumped in. We jumped in at like 175 and ended up buying her for 250 or 255, whatever it ended up being. And we honestly had no intention, because I thought she'd be so through the roof expensive that I didn't think anybody would be able to, we wouldn't be able to buy her. And I think everybody was in their same impression, because everybody just kind of sat there and watched her sell. And I'm so glad we got her bought, because she's been just phenomenal all winter.
Yeah, the trotting fillies, like if you watched any of our HRU updates from Harrisburg, Lexington, I'm telling you, those trotting fillies, they are so pricey, but they're worth a lot for broodmares, right?
Well, and that was the whole thing. I said, if this filly never wore a harness, being a sister to Special Way, she's worth $250 all day. If whatever she does on the racetrack is gravy. She's done everything right. Hopefully she can have her own campaign and make her own name for herself. But had she not done anything, or does she not do anything on the track, she's worth that as a broodmare.
Yeah, so when something like that happens and you just jump in and you start bidding and you get her, are you like, what just happened?
Right.
What?
Well, and that's a good thing about it. We'd done the homework, we'd watched everything, saw her in the paddock. So it wasn't a surprise, like what did we miss? It was more so, I can't believe that just happened type of situation. So, we had liked her. Of course, we loved her, everything about her, but we just couldn't believe that that's all she brought.
All right, let's move on to Loving Touch, a green shoe filly, first crop of green shoe, a homebred too.
Yes, and I really like my green shoes. I have 4 of them, 2 colts and 2 fillies, and I thought this is a filly that we should highlight on here. She's actually the same family as Bright Star. She's out of a granddaughter of Passionate Glide, so it's basically the same pedigree as Bright Star. And this filly's just been really, really, really good to work with. She had a great attitude, great gait to her, does everything right. She's medium sized, but just really gets over the ground well. And like I say, for the 4 green shoes that I got, I'm very happy with them.
We'll move on to the pacing colts, and we have Hungry to Win, a Stay Hungry, who's a $150,000 Lexington purchase.
Yes, he sold with Preferred. He was raised at Hanover. His name originally was Yankee Gorman, and he's a name change. Family of Perfect Sting. Great pedigree on him. Been a great colt, training down, very solid, quick. Great manners. We loved our Stay Hungrys last year. Of course, I'm a big believer in the horse. I think the horse had a really nice year. I think he could have had a great year, but he had some of the horses that started out early kind of tailed off a little bit, including some of the ones I had. But they're coming back good. I think they'll be good 3-year-olds, some of the ones we stopped with early. So I really think that Stay Hungry set himself up to have a big year this year. So this colt's been solid.
Talking about sires who have had big years, guy by the name of Captain Treacherous, who you know a lot about. We're going to talk about one of his colts now, San Jose.
Yeah, this colt he's a brother to Pebble Beach. We had the colt last year, a brother named Cabot Beach. Cabot Beach we liked. He just didn't have really the power to really put it all together. We sold him. Another gentleman bought him. A guy named Brady Doyle out of Canada bought him, and he asked us to hang on to him and train him this year. And he's training back very well. So this colt we bought at Lexington. He just seemed to have a little bit more strength, a little more power than Cabot Beach at the same stage, and he's really trained down good so far. Really happy with him, and acts like he's got a quick turn of speed. So we'll see how it goes, but so far so good.
Okay. Another colt is the Dragon Reborn. Now, Better's Delight. The first crop of Better's Delight.
Right.
Just kidding. No, when I was looking through these 2-year-olds, I'm like, so cool. A Better's Delight.
Yeah.
The horse is just a legend. I think he is the world's leading sire.
Probably.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Between the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, it's like 25 years old. Yeah, super cool. Let's talk about the Better's Delight.
Yeah, I was going to say this is like I think his 31st crop or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but this colt was kind of interesting because he's a Better's Delight, which we're always shopping for anything Ontario as well because my mom goes up there in the summertime. So, and this was a colt that Caviar really zeroed in on because they love the family. My Little Dragon's one of their favorites. So, this is be a brother to Stay Hungry, Treacherous Dragon. I mean, a whole list of really good horses. And this is a colt that he was medium size. And he was just kind of hit one of the spots in the sale where I think there was a little bit of a lull. I never thought in a million years we'd get this colt bought for what we did. I think we give 100 for him. And I thought we were prepared to go to $250 for him. We liked him that much. And we thought that with his pedigree and being a Better's Delight colt, we might have to step out a little bit. And we bought him for 100. He has Kentucky also. He's dual eligible. And I mean, this colt has just been stellar. I mean, I've never had a Better's Delight colt train like this. Good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, he is like they always do their work. They don't really do much too exciting training down. This colt has just been, I mean, flawless. Like you don't ask him, he's push button. He does whatever you ask him to do. He's 2 fingers following. The minute you move him, away we go. So I mean, he's been really solid. So I'm excited for this colt's future.
This is the second horse you've mentioned now where you're like, wait a minute. Can't believe I got him for, less expensive than I thought. So basically, your eyes are looking at that sale ring the whole day.
Yeah, I literally don't get up. Once the session starts, I don't get up. I sit there and I watch, especially the first 2 nights, especially. I mean, I may, if there's a 5-horse break and I need to run to the restroom or something like that. But I mean, literally, fortunately, I've got clients that bring me food at the chair or something to drink because I literally don't get up because, there are lulls in the action. There's horses that you never think, like the Special Talent filly that you'll get bought. And, had I got up and left and said, I'm not going to be able to buy her, and I would have missed her. So I don't get up and I don't leave. I watch every horse.
All right. We'll move on to the pacing fillies now. We've got Timeout Hanover. Who is it? Stay Hungry.
Yes, and I thought she was probably one of the best pacing fillies to go through the auction this year. I really, really was high on this filly. Dr. Jablonski from Hanover told me, I've got a filly that you're going to absolutely love. And it was this filly. And being a Stay Hungry and everything else, I mean, she checked all the boxes. So, we stepped out and we went the whole way on her, and it cost us every bit. I think with $325 we ended up giving for, but she's training really good. So I think that she has some merit for sure.
Yeah, when I saw the price, because I think $325 is the highest one that we have on the list.
Sure.
And when I was looking, like, the mom doesn't show making a lot of money, and I'm thinking, why is she so expensive? But she just looked greater. I mean,
beautiful, and I mean, it's a great family behind her. The dam was, just did okay, but it's a maternal family of American Jewel. I mean, it's a great pedigree behind this filly, and like I say, being a Stay Hungry, beautiful individual, and I mean, she's a filly that they bought her for a future broodmare, and whatever she does on the track will be a bonus. But she's really, training well.
That's why people like me report on it, and they don't actually know how to look back at the breedings and figure out the crosses. That's why other people get paid to do that. So, all right, Run the World Deo, another Stay Hungry, yes.
Yeah, and this is a filly that we'd kind of focused on Lexington. We bought her for 90, I believe. She was a Stay Hungry. The mare hadn't really done a whole lot yet, but this is her first time being bred to Stay Hungry. And this filly's maternally inbred, which is something that we really are big believers in. If it hits, it's lightning in the bottle, as they say. So you bring the best of the dam back onto the best of the sire, and you end up with something that's maternally inbred. So this is a really, really nice filly, big, strong. She was a little tough to get her broken going, but she's been solid, and really, really happy with her.
All right, so we're going to top off the list with Bree Hanover, Captain Treacherous, who of course Tony trained, and out of Bedroom Confessions, who of course Tony trained. And I got to say, my son Wyatt's favorite Alagna horse ever. She was so beautiful. Not only was she fantastic on the racetrack, I mean, Bedroom Confessions was fantastic broodmare. I mean, we talked about Bellissima Hanover, but also she's had another foal too who's made a lot of money.
Yeah, we owned the mare when she was racing. We sold her to Hanover. We retained a small piece of her, myself and Myron and Stephanie Bell. But we've bought everything the mare's had so far. She had Boudoir Hanover, and then she had Bellissima Hanover. Then we bought this one this year, Bree Hanover. So so far we've bought everything the mare has, and she has a Tall Dark Stranger colt to sell this year, and his name's Bell Hanover. So I can only imagine we'll probably end up with that one too. So. But yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go back to that family. It's been so good to us. The mare was good to us, and this filly's been solid. She's maybe not as big as the other two fillies were, but she's got a great way of going and really gets over the ground well.
Okay. Now, you've probably been asked this question a million times, but here's 1,000,001 because I don't know the answer to it. Trotters or Pacers? Do you have a favorite?
No, not really. Just a great horse. I mean, I always tell people that, Trotters are high risk, high reward. You maybe got to spend a little bit more. They're not maybe as easy to get there, even though they get easier all the time, more so than they used to be. But if you get a great trotter, I mean, the world's your oyster. Pacers are a lot tougher to come by to have a great pacer, but a great trotter, it could really do a lot. And, it's funny because the year we had Ramona Hill, that's the only trotter we bought at auction was Ramona. So we bought one horse, ended up being Ramona Hill. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So, but we have a lot this year, a lot of trotters this year.
That's all the Pacers in the background being like, hater, what about us? We're okay. We're oysters. We're lightning in the bottle. So now, what about like a key moment where you have to turn a horse out? You said you had 81 2-year-olds.
Sure.
Are they all still training?
Yeah, everything's still in training at this stage. The horses down in Florida and everything we got up here, everybody's still in training. So, what we try to do, I'm a big believer, if I can get them there at 2, even if I only qualify them and put them away for the year, we take a lot of horses to Lexington just to finish them up down there, make sure we get a qualifier or 2 on them, because it just makes it easier for them to come back as free if they've been there and done that a little bit. So, we're firm believers on that. And as long as there's not something that's, career ending or career threatening that we have to stop with them for that reason, we try to get them there at 2.
Okay, all right. This is fun. I mean, this is fun.
Yeah.
We're fun. But this is fun. This is exciting.
Exciting time of the year, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, I see you go back and forth to the track, and you're, calling over to people with a smile on your face and going out there. And yeah, God, I love that you love it so much.
And it was funny because when we bought the farm, I always a dream of mine to want the farm, but you're never really sure how it's going to go as far as if your help's going to enjoy it, if they're going to like it. And it's amazing that I find the help stays in the barn longer. Everybody's happier just because it's just us out here. We're not having to deal with other people training their horses this way, that way, or, a bad actor on the track of somebody else's. We're just here doing our own thing. And, like I told Ronnie Burke one day, I said, we're on our own little island. So it's kind of nice that we're able to do it. And the horses really enjoy it. You know, the horses are quieter. You know, we'd have a lot of times, like we'd come out of Florida, and Florida was so quiet with the babies. And we go to Gateway, and Gateway's got a lot of horses there, a lot of race horses, a lot of babies, a lot of everything, you know, and it seemed like our horses would come up there, and it'd take them a little while to get quieted back down and get acclimated to it. And here, we just don't have that because it's just us. We're all on the same schedule, so it works out very well.
Well, I love it here. I loved this interview, as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Twos in Training, sponsored by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company and Wire to Wire Wealth. Don't forget to log on to harnessracingupdate.com and subscribe to our free newsletter. I'm Heather Vitale, and this has been an HRU production.